Menu pricing is your first step to value pricing. It's the first step, it's the first thing that you do because conceptually it's easy to understand, it's also quite easy to implement, to put in place. And yet despite its simplicity, when you do it right, can get incredible results. The problem is sometimes people get it wrong. I see big mistakes with menu pricing. And despite its seeming simplicity, how hard can it be to have a gold, a bronze, a silver, a gold? It's actually a lot of science behind it. There's a big art to it. So what I want to do in this video is I want to deepen your knowledge of how to successfully implement menu pricing by taking you through a 7-step framework. So let me go through those steps, starting with, obviously, number 1. The first thing you do when you're creating your systems, your packaging for a service, is to decide how many packages will you offer. Now, the default would be 3. I call it the magic of 3. There are very powerful reasons why 3 works, and you will see 3 in all sorts of places. Most of the successful and most profitable companies in the world do 3. Apple do, the coffee shops like Starbucks do this, the successful car companies, even the SaaS companies in our industry like Intuit QuickBooks use 3. It's the magic of 3, it's very powerful, and so you should use that unless you can figure out another better result. Sometimes there are reasons why you might have a 4th option. Sometimes you might have a hidden 4th option. There are all sorts of different reasons. Sometimes 3 might not even be appropriate. You might just want 1. So that's the first thing. Decide how many packages. I would suggest you aim for 3, but as you get more advanced at menu pricing, you may have some good reasons for a different number. Number 2, this is something that is critically important and most people have no idea about. It's called customer segmentation. Now, you may have heard of customer segmentation because marketers talk about it from a marketing point of view. This is a little bit different. Prices use customer segmentation in a similar way, but it means something a little bit different. It means this. When you create packages, it may be 3, when you create packages, it's really important to create a package of stuff, of features, of components that meets a specific set of needs. The mistake that a lot of people make when they start off down their journey of creating a bronze, silver, gold is they think of all sorts of things they could possibly do, and then they randomly put them into the 3 packages so that none of those packages speak to a particular type of buyer, type of customer. We need to think it through. Let me give you an example. This is how Apple did it with the iPod. When they launched the iPod, they had 3 options. There was the Shuffle, there was the Mini, which I know later the Mini was changed to the Touch, but it was originally the Mini, and then it was the Classic. And what Apple did with those 3 products is they thought about who are they specifically aimed at. They created products to meet 3 different types of people. And so the Shuffle was aimed at people who really were into sports, who wanted to go to the gym, running. They wanted something small, discreet, they could clip on their belt. They didn't need a huge music library. It didn't need to be played in, it didn't need a screen. Shuffle was fine. Shuffle met the needs of a particular part of the marketplace. Then we had the Mini. The Mini was for people who wanted a screen and they wanted to be able to choose the order that the music was played in. And then we had the Classic. The Classic was aimed at the audiophile, the person like me who loves music, who just loves the idea that we can carry around in our pocket our entire music collection. And so it had a much bigger capacity. So they've created 3 products which met a particular set of customers' needs. Think about Jaguar, for example, one of the car companies. They give you 3 choices. This is for a Jaguar XF Sport Brake. They call them the Prestige, they call them the R Sport, and they call them the Portfolio. And when they designed the features for these packages, it wasn't random. They'd thought through 3 different customer segments. There was one type of customer that wants the Prestige because they want the prestige of owning a luxury estate car with a premium brand, with Jaguar. And yet they don't have a huge budget, and therefore they're willing to compromise because money is an issue. And so the Prestige is aimed at those people who don't have a huge budget but want the prestige of owning a Jaguar luxury estate car. You then have that type of person who they just love sporty looks and they want it to be a bit more sporty and turn people's eye as you drive past. And so the R Sport model is aimed at those people, and the particular features have extra trim and some other unique features and slightly more sporty engine. And then at the top range they have the Portfolio. This is because there are some customers that want to buy a Jaguar luxury estate car and they want super luxury. They want the extra things, the extra comfort, the security. They want to feel in a luxurious surroundings. And so that's built with a set of packages that speaks to that specific type of person. We have to use customer segmentation when we're building our 3 different packages. Most people don't do that and then wonder why menu pricing isn't getting the results. Now, number 3 is the next thing we do is having decided who are our different customer types and their different characteristics. Now we have to describe who they're for. We have to use a form of words so that when we describe our packages, it helps the client to choose the one that's right for them. So as an example, let's look at a service that you may well offer: cash flow forecasting. If you were to offer forecasting, I would suggest there are 3 types of customer. There are those customers that are perhaps unsophisticated small business startups. You know they should absolutely have a forecast. It's critical. You shouldn't start a business up without a forecast, but they don't have a lot of money, they're just starting business, they're a small business, so we want to create something cut down for them. We then have a customer that will come to you because they want a forecast, because they need to. The bank manager sent them your way because they're looking to raise finance. And then there's the third category, the larger business, the more sophisticated business, where they want more things out of a forecast. They're coming to you because they're looking to launch a new product into the marketplace, or open up an office in Paris, or whatever it happens to be. So we create 3 different packages for those 3 different sets of needs. And then what we do is we create a form of words for our marketing, for our brochures, for the way that we describe the options, our scripts, that helps the customer to choose the one that's right for them. So it might be that we say, for example, the bronze, this option is best for business owners who want a quick snapshot of where their business is, where it might be at some future date, and what's likely to happen in the intervening months. The silver, the middle one, you might describe as this is our most popular option because it's focused on helping you secure finance. It does this by providing you and lenders with comprehensive forecasts over a period of your choosing. And then the gold level, your top one, it says this is the best option for business owners who want the financial forecast to be a key management tool. This is for you if you're goal focused, if you want to keep your fingers on the pulse at all times, if you want to understand the impact on cash from every business decision that you make. You see, when you've thought that through and your customer segments and you explain your 3 packages in that way, it helps the customer to buy the right one from you. Next, you have to name the packages. Okay, I may have referred to bronze, silver, gold. I only ever refer to bronze, silver, gold is because people understand what that means. But actually, bronze, silver, gold are lousy labels. They don't communicate any benefit. Pricing is part of marketing, and words matter. Words are critically important. So try to be creative with your namings of your packages so that they speak to the client and convey some sort of benefit. Think of Jaguar, the Prestige, the R Sport, and the Portfolio. They could have called them the Jaguar Bronze, the Jaguar Silver, the Jaguar Gold. That would have been lousy because it doesn't convey anything. Next, what you do in step 5, now you're ready to create your packages, to create the contents for those 3 items. And what you do, here's very quickly the 5-step process, the framework for doing exactly that. Number 1, list everything you currently do. What do you currently do as part of a forecasting service? Second, Remove the non-essentials from your bronze. So anything that you don't have to do, keep the bronze one aimed at being really cut down, no frills, simple, if that's the particular customer segment. Then think about everything else you could possibly do. How can you add more value, give a better experience? You then allocate those across your bronze, silver, gold based upon your customer segmentation. And that means that it doesn't matter how wonderful a feature is that you could build into your bronze, silver, gold. If that feature doesn't meet the needs of a particular segment, you save it for later. You use it in another way. It could be as an option, it could be an upsell, it could be a cross-sell. That's the 5-step framework. Then number 6 is you come up with the price for your packages. Now this bit, the important point here is when you price packages, the price you come up with, you need to be aware of the relative price between the three. And so you have to understand some of the psychology and the strategies of what the different options are. And so in a system like cloud pricing, the way that it does it is it calculates the price, a value-based price for one of the packages, the bronze level, and then from that the other packages are calculated as a proportion, a percent, as 50% higher, 100% higher, or whatever it might well be, because you want to get the relative prices right. And then finally you present your packages. And a great way of doing that is using the tick list technique. You display your 3 options, listing what you do, and use ticks and crosses so the client can see what they get and what they don't get. The tick list technique works because it uses some psychology and it's very visual. So there's a quick run through of the 7 steps. Now menu pricing is a lot more involved than that. It's a real art. I have a video training course, The Complete Guide to Menu Pricing. If you're interested in that, I'll put a link to it somewhere underneath here. You can grab that and you can become a master at menu pricing. If you understand only one thing about value pricing, this, charging different customers different prices, when you get this right, you can increase your average price across your entire firm by 20-30%. There are many people who have done that. Let's put this all into practice. I'm going to show you how in cloud pricing you can apply these advanced strategies in a practical way so that you have a structured step-by-step system for pricing that builds in best practice with menu pricing. Let's go and look at that now. In a previous video, I shared with you how within the components section, when you're editing, you can create the features, the elements of your different packages. And in cloud pricing, you can have any number between 1 and 4. So we can see we have 4 columns and you can choose what goes into each. Normally, you would just have the equivalent of your bronze, silver, gold. You'd have 3 choices, but there are situations where you might want to have a 4th option. Now, a lot of the magic around this occurs in the expressing the price tab. So we can think about step 1 in the framework is how many packages do you want? Well, that's done in the components. Then when we think about what those packages are going to be and who they're going to be aimed at and the name of them, we can change the names here. So by default, you will find that in cloud pricing, they're labeled as the light, the entry, the full, and the premium. And as simple as that. But you can change them to something, for example, I have here essential bookkeeping. And this is what would appear in the heading above the table with the ticks and the crosses when you reveal the price to the client. You'll also recall in step 6 of the framework, I talked about how you come up with the price. And the easiest way, and usually the best way, is to make sure, and it's these 2 columns here, adjustment type and price adjustment. So you would normally have relative and 1 against the entry level or the bronze. And that means the software calculates a price, and that's the price of the entry level. But you might then decide you want to have a cut down version, a light option, and that might be with less stuff at a discount. And so if you wanted to be 40% less, we would have relative and 0.6. and that then multiplies the price by 0.6 to arrive at that particular price. And similarly, for our full and premium options, we would want those to be higher. And so if you were to set relative and 1.3, the software calculates the price to be 30% higher and 50% higher respectively with 1.5. There are other things that you can do. You do not have to have relative. It might be, for various reasons, that you want the entry level to be a fixed amount, a flat fee. It could be that you always want the not the entry level, the light level, the real cut down version, you might want that to always be 500. And that's fine. You can do that. There may be some situations where you want a cut down light version that's really, really simple. And also you can have something called absolute. So let's look at the premium. You might decide that rather than multiplying it by 50% and having the premium be 50% more than your entry level, your bronze level, you could choose absolute, and that would add on an absolute amount, such as it might be $1,000. It's always $1,000 or £1,000 higher than the bronze level. So multiple different ways that you can choose how your prices are reflected and calculated. And the last thing that you can do with the software is you can also choose how they are revealed. So normally you would see the entry, or essential in this case, essential, full and premium as show package, and the monthly is likely, or the entry level, the light level, the cheapest one, may well be either hide package or option to reveal. What that means is if we hide the package, that means it will never ever be revealed. It won't be used. So if you only want 3 options and only ever want 3 options, that's fine. We just take the light option, in this case monthly checkup, and we hide it, and it will never be revealed. It may be that you have a template you've created and you can't think of any reason why there'd be more than one package. There might not be a bronze, silver, gold. It might be just the one. And if that's the case, you would hide the package for the full and the premium as well. So there's only one that's ever shown, and that's fine. You can do that. You also have this option to reveal, and that means you can choose when you're sat in front of a client whether you reveal it or not. It's, if you like, hidden up your sleeve. So it may well be, if you've got these settings, that when you reveal the price for the first time, the client sees the price for the essential, the full and the premium. They see the 3 different options. But if you find out that the client has a very small budget, they can't afford the 3 options, you might decide that rather than lose the business, you have a 4th option hidden up your sleeve, the light option. And that's an option to reveal, which means that in front of the client, you could then reveal that particular option. So there's a number of ways you can use the software to choose different strategies of how you use menu pricing.